Have you ever felt that unexpected visits or casual comments have caused tension or discomfort in your relationships? As we get older, our need for personal space and peace becomes more important than ever. In this video, we'll dive into the subtle ways we can respect personal boundaries, avoid misunderstandings, and protect our inner peace, especially as we cross into our 60s and beyond. You'll learn how seemingly innocent actions, like frequent visits or casual remarks, can unintentionally disrupt the harmony in our social and family life. We'll also explore how economic differences can subtly affect our self-esteem and relationships, and why sometimes the best choice is to limit contact with those who make us feel inferior. By the end of this video, you'll understand how small adjustments in how we interact with others can lead to a more peaceful, fulfilling life. You'll gain valuable insights on how to maintain healthy boundaries, communicate more wisely, and create a more balanced, stress-free lifestyle in your later years. Don't miss out on these life-changing tips. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. As we cross into our 60s, life starts shifting in subtle yet meaningful ways. Our priorities often change, and the value of personal space and peace takes on an entirely new depth. Many of us begin to find solace in quieter moments and feel an increasing need for privacy, a form of self-care that becomes almost sacred. In these later years, peace and tranquility are no longer mere luxuries. They become essentials for our well-being. There's a unique comfort in knowing that home is a sanctuary where we can unwind, reflect, and feel safe from the clamor of the outside world. When this sense of peace is disturbed, even by someone with the best intentions, it can feel like an intrusion on something profoundly personal. For this reason, many people in their later years find themselves intentionally limiting social interactions, especially those that might compromise their sense of inner calm. Protecting this peace is an act of self-preservation and respect for the life we've carefully shaped. To illustrate, let's explore the story of Mr. 2, a gentleman in his early 60s who learned firsthand the significance of boundaries in friendships, even those rekindled after many years. Mr. 2 was delighted when he unexpectedly bumped into an old friend from his high school days while out running errands one afternoon. They shared an instant connection, as if no time had passed, and reminisced about their younger years. His friend, equally thrilled, extended an invitation to his home, suggesting they have a few drinks and revive those fond memories. For Mr. 2, this invitation felt like a sincere wish to bring their friendship back into his life in a meaningful way. It stirred up memories and emotions, and he genuinely believed his presence was wanted, even needed. Driven by excitement and nostalgia, Mr. 2 began visiting his friend's home regularly. Every weekend, he would thoughtfully prepare snacks or bring along a bottle of wine, eager to add to their conversations. These visits became a cherished ritual for him, a reminder of his youth and the bonds that shaped him. To Mr. 2, the visits were moments of joy and connection, and he believed his friend and his family felt the same. Yet, unknown to him, his visits were having a different impact on his friend's household. At first, his friend and his family welcomed him warmly, offering him a place in their home and joining him in laughter and conversation. However, as time went on, the frequency of his visits began to take a toll on the family's own need for privacy and downtime. His friend's wife, though polite, started feeling as though her weekends were no longer her own, and their children, used to the family's quiet weekends, subtly began to withdraw when Mr. 2 came over. His friend, who had initially extended the invitation as a friendly gesture, didn't quite know how to address the issue without hurting Mr. 2's feelings. So, they tolerated his visits, thinking he might eventually notice on his own that his presence was becoming a bit too regular. Unfortunately, Mr. 2, swept up in his happiness and the comfort of reconnecting with an old friend, didn't pick up on the family's subtle hints. It wasn't until his friend finally gathered the courage to have a gentle but honest conversation with him that Mr. Two understood the unintended effects of his actions. When his friend delicately mentioned the strain his frequent visits were placing on their family's routines, Mr. Two felt a wave of embarrassment and regret. He hadn't realized that his weekly appearances, which brought him so much joy, had become an uninvited intrusion into their personal space. His heart sank as he reflected on how his presence, while well-intentioned, had disrupted the peace and privacy of his friend's home. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. This experience was a powerful wake-up call for Mr. Tuesday. He suddenly understood the delicate nature of boundaries, especially as we age. In his eagerness to reconnect, he had crossed into his friend's private world without recognizing the unspoken limits. It was a humbling lesson, one that made him realize how important it is to respect not only the physical space of others but also the emotional space that each of us guards so carefully. Mr. Two began to see that friendship, especially in later life, flourishes when there is mutual respect and understanding for each other's boundaries. He learned that sometimes, loving someone means giving them room to breathe, to keep their routines and private time intact, rather than imposing on it. From that day forward, Mr. Two made a conscious effort to show his love and care without overstepping. He understood that as we age, friendships do not require constant presence or frequent gatherings. True friends can go for long stretches without seeing each other and remain deeply connected. Those relationships often feel even stronger because they are based on a shared understanding of life's changing needs. For Mr. Two, this revelation brought peace to his heart. He realized that by protecting others' personal space, he was not only honoring their needs but also preserving his sense of dignity and self-respect. In many ways, Mr. Two's story is a reminder to all of us that personal space is invaluable as we age. It teaches us that friendships, like any meaningful relationship, require sensitivity to the needs of others. And sometimes, the most caring thing we can do is to be mindful of the boundaries that make each relationship healthy and fulfilling. When we respect others' space, we cultivate a quieter, more respectful love that transcends the need for constant closeness. In the end, Mr. Two's story is not just about understanding boundaries. It's about cherishing peace, valuing privacy, and finding joy in the beautiful balance between connection and solitude. Mr. Two's story is a moving reminder of the importance of personal boundaries, especially as we step into our 60s and beyond, a time when our priorities shift and our need for peace becomes profound. This stage of life brings with it a heightened appreciation for the quiet rhythms that add richness to each day, like savoring a warm cup of tea in solitude, feeling the sun's warmth as we tend to the garden, or simply enjoying the presence of family without the bustle of constant activity. These moments, once perhaps taken for granted, evolve into essential parts of our well-being. They create a comforting routine that becomes a sanctuary, a buffer from the world's demands. This sense of stability, cultivated through small, daily acts, is one of life's sweetest pleasures, especially in older age. It's in these years that many people come to value solitude and routine in an almost sacred way. When we're younger, social interactions often revolve around constant gatherings, meetups, and spontaneous visits. But as we grow older, our energy shifts. We become more selective with whom we spend time, and we find a deep, almost spiritual contentment in the simplicity of a quiet evening or the ritual of brewing tea. For many, especially those in their 60s, too frequent visits can feel like an intrusion rather than a source of joy. It disrupts the calm they've built, the quiet they now hold so dear. It's not that they don't value connections with loved ones, but rather that they've come to cherish the preciousness of uninterrupted time. The beauty of Mr. Two's story also lies in its subtle warning about social etiquette and the unspoken rules of invitations. In many cultures, invitations are extended out of courtesy, a polite gesture, a friendly offering. But not every "you should come over more often" is meant to be taken literally. Sometimes, it's simply a way to show kindness and maintain social graces, a way of saying, "You're welcome here," but not necessarily, "come as often as you wish." Understanding this distinction requires a degree of social wisdom and sensitivity, something that often only comes with age. As we grow older, we become more attuned to these nuances, learning to recognize when an invitation is sincere or simply a polite formality. This perceptiveness can save us, and others, from awkward misunderstandings or the discomfort of unintended imposition. There's an underlying wisdom here. Respecting personal space is an essential part of preserving and deepening our relationships. It shows that we honor the independence and personal freedom that become so valuable in later years. Giving someone space isn't an act of neglect but one of respect and affection. It's saying, "I care for you enough to let you enjoy life on your terms, without the obligation of entertaining or accommodating my visits." For many people in their 60s and beyond, this respect for personal boundaries is one of the most significant ways we can show love. Mr. Two's experience also serves as a reminder of the importance of words in shaping relationships as we age. In our younger years, we may speak casually or without much thought, assuming that our relationships are resilient and can withstand the occasional misunderstanding. But in our later years, we recognize that words carry weight. A single comment can linger, affect emotions, and alter the dynamics of a relationship. For this reason, those in their 60s often become more deliberate in how they communicate, choosing words that reflect understanding, care, and sometimes, restraint. This mindfulness helps to protect relationships from the strain of miscommunication and fosters a more harmonious connection with others. In the end, Mr. Two's story isn't just about one man's desire for solitude. It's a broader reflection of the balance between connection and independence. It reminds us that as we grow older, our relationships need to evolve too. By respecting each other's need for space, by reading between the lines of politeness, and by being thoughtful with our words, we not only safeguard our peace but also bring greater respect and understanding into the lives of those we care about. It's a valuable lesson for anyone looking to deepen their relationships without overstepping. A reminder that sometimes the greatest gift we can offer is simply the freedom to be left undisturbed. Mrs. Mai, a lively and sociable woman, has always cherished her connections within the community. Since her retirement, she's embraced the joy of gathering with her neighbors, filling her days with laughter and companionship. Every evening, she joins her friends for lively outdoor dance sessions, moving to the rhythm of music and friendship under the open sky. It's a routine that brings her energy and a sense of belonging, a highlight of her daily life. And when the weather isn't cooperative, the group finds comfort indoors, taking turns visiting each other's homes. In these intimate gatherings, they share stories, meals, and pieces of their hearts. For Mrs. Mai, these moments are more than just a way to pass the time. They're a new chapter, a way to stay connected to the world around her and to keep loneliness at bay. One rainy afternoon, Mrs. Mai joined her friends at a neighbor's house. The conversation began as it often does, light-hearted and filled with laughter, each woman sharing bits of her daily life, the ups and downs, small joys, and occasional complaints. Then, naturally, the topic turned to family. As she spoke about her son and his wife, Mrs. Mai made what she considered to be an innocent remark about her daughter-in-law, mentioning that she sometimes wished her daughter-in-law was more proactive with household chores. Without giving it much thought, she added that marrying her son seemed to have made her daughter-in-law a little too relaxed, perhaps even spoiled. In her mind, it was just an offhand comment, something she said without malice, feeling that it was simply an observation any mother-in-law might make. However, her words soon reached her daughter-in-law through the grapevine. Rather than brushing it off, her daughter-in-law felt a deep sting, interpreting Mrs. Mai's comments as a sign of resentment and disapproval. The remark made her feel unappreciated, as if she wasn't meeting her mother-in-law's expectations or contributing to the family in a way that was valued. A rift began to form between them, a painful distance that had not been there before. The daughter-in-law's demeanor became noticeably colder, a subtle but undeniable change that added tension to every family interaction. Mrs. Mai's son, aware of his wife's hurt feelings, was equally disappointed. He criticized his mother for her choice of words, feeling that she had spoken thoughtlessly and without considering the impact it might have on their family's harmony. This story of Mrs. Mai resonates deeply because it illustrates a powerful truth. Words, even those that seem casual or insignificant, carry weight, especially within the delicate web of family relationships. Mrs. Mai had no intention of causing hurt, but her comments were received as if they held a harsh judgment, leaving her daughter-in-law feeling misunderstood and perhaps even unloved. For Mrs. Mai, this experience brought a new understanding of how easily words can be misinterpreted and how they can take on a life of their own once spoken. It served as a reminder that in our later years, we often become more vulnerable to the shifting emotions of our loved ones, and a single comment can unravel years of closeness, creating cracks in the very foundation of trust and warmth we've spent a lifetime building. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. This story teaches us an essential lesson about the art of social interaction, especially as we age. In gatherings with friends, neighbors, and acquaintances, it's easy to let our guard down and speak freely without a second thought. But sometimes, the best way to preserve peace is to practice restraint. Not every observation needs to be shared, and not every thought needs to be voiced, particularly when it touches upon personal matters that others may take to heart. As Mrs. Mai discovered, even a seemingly innocent comment can become a source of unnecessary turmoil, affecting not only our relationship with one person but the harmony of the family as a whole. Moreover, this experience underscores the importance of self-awareness and careful communication. We must remember that our words don't exist in isolation. They reflect our inner thoughts and values, and they influence how others see us. This is particularly true as we grow older, when family relationships become deeper and more complex, shaped by years of shared experiences and expectations. Speaking thoughtfully and with compassion helps protect the bonds that bring us joy and comfort, ensuring that our words don't inadvertently sow seeds of hurt or misunderstanding. Mrs. Mai's story reminds us that sometimes, silence is the gentler path. When we find ourselves in social gatherings or casual conversations, choosing to speak less and listen more can create an atmosphere of warmth and respect. It allows us to connect with others without stepping into sensitive areas that might unintentionally harm those we care about. Embracing a mindset of caution and kindness in our communication can help us avoid the regrets and sorrows that come from misunderstandings, preserving the love and harmony we all seek in our lives. Finally, this story is a call to reflect on the wisdom of restraint. In a world filled with endless opportunities to express our thoughts, the power of holding back, of choosing silence over words, becomes an invaluable skill. For those in their later years, this wisdom is especially precious, as family and social connections provide a foundation of joy, companionship, and support. By choosing our words carefully, we not only protect the relationships that matter most, but also leave behind a legacy of kindness and understanding that echoes through the lives of those we love. In Mrs. Mai's journey, we find a reminder of how delicate the threads of the family are and how, with a little more mindfulness, we can nurture and cherish those connections, ensuring they remain a source of peace and joy for years to come. As we journey into our 60s, a period often marked by reflection and adjustment, the subtle yet powerful impact of economic differences between families can bring unexpected psychological and emotional challenges. Our lives are filled with an intricate mosaic of experiences, each triumph and hardship contributing to who we are today. By this stage, every person has their own deeply personal story, their history carved out over decades. And yet, as we grow older, a quieter struggle often arises, one that many people may not even recognize until it is already affecting them. This challenge emerges from the differences in financial situations and lifestyles, which, especially in close relationships, can weigh heavily on our mental well-being. Imagine this. You decide to visit a longtime friend or a close relative. Upon arrival, you're greeted by a grand, beautifully designed home filled with the latest comforts and decor that speaks of a certain level of wealth. The atmosphere radiates affluence, and it's hard not to notice that everything, from the layout of the rooms to the quality of the furniture, reflects a level of success that perhaps you feel you haven't reached. Their children, likely well-established and successful, are thriving and frequently celebrated for their achievements, perhaps in prestigious careers or with impressive credentials. Even if your children have found their paths, and even if you're proud of them, the comparison sneaks in like an uninvited guest. without intending to, you find yourself wondering, what if things had been different? Why couldn't I offer my family the same comforts? These feelings can be deeply unsettling and can trigger self-doubt or even a sense of inadequacy about your own choices, despite all that you've accomplished in life. It's not that you're envious in a bitter sense. These people are dear to you, after all. But standing in their space, looking around, it's natural to feel an uncomfortable awareness of what you may not have. And while we might dismiss these feelings as trivial, they linger. Left unchecked, these emotions can slowly erode our peace of mind, leaving us vulnerable to feelings of inferiority and sadness. This emotional turbulence, if left to simmer, can not only disturb our inner peace but also strain social relationships. This phenomenon is universal. No one is immune to comparison. However, as we reach our later years, it becomes especially important to cultivate emotional resilience and to be selective in the environments we immerse ourselves in. Protecting our peace often means limiting exposure to situations or people that, however unintentionally, create this imbalance. Choosing to live more independently, and deciding when and with whom we engage, can become an empowering act of self-preservation. Moreover, there's another, often overlooked factor at play. When visiting those who are more financially secure, they may unknowingly make comments about their recent accomplishments, new purchases, or upcoming travels. For instance, they might mention their new car or an exotic vacation they're planning. Although they likely have no intention of causing discomfort, these conversations can remind us of what we might consider our shortcomings or missed opportunities. This can create an invisible emotional barrier, a sense of us and them, that transforms what should be a joyful visit into a subtly painful experience. After these gatherings, one might leave feeling inadequate, even if that was never the host's intention. This silent discomfort might even make us hesitant to join future gatherings or family events, not out of resentment, but simply to protect our well-being and prevent our self-worth from becoming entwined with material comparisons. The modern world has shifted too, in how we view social gatherings and relationships. Many people, especially as they grow older, now prefer to spend their time in quiet reflection, cherishing the peacefulness of their own company and homes. There's a newfound appreciation for solitude and self-contentment, a recognition that happiness does not necessarily depend on frequent social interactions or attending gatherings. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Rather, it's the ability to find joy in our own space, free from judgment or the urge to compare. The allure of staying home, reading a book, enjoying a hobby, or simply savoring the calm of a familiar environment often outweighs the temporary excitement of social gatherings. These moments spent alone or with a few loved ones who truly understand and accept us bring a different kind of fulfillment, a deeper peace that no amount of outward success can replace. As we move through these later years, protecting our mental health and emotional equilibrium becomes not just a priority but a necessary choice. For those over 60, avoiding situations that could disrupt our internal harmony is not a matter of withdrawal but of wisdom. It is the understanding that true contentment does not come from matching or exceeding the successes of others but from appreciating our unique journeys, the lessons learned, and the strengths gained over the years. By limiting interactions that may prompt uncomfortable comparisons, we shield our spirits from unnecessary stress and allow ourselves the freedom to enjoy life with less complication and greater inner calm. Living simply, focusing on what truly matters, and surrounding ourselves with people who bring out the best in us, rather than those who remind us of what we may lack, are some of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves in this stage of life. After all, the heart craves peace far more than luxury, and the soul finds joy in harmony, not in competition. In choosing independence and a simpler way of life, we open ourselves up to the most precious gift of all, a life of contentment, where happiness is not measured by what we have or don't have but by the quiet, unshakable peace that comes from within. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered together. How do differences in economic conditions affect our inner peace? And how can choosing independence bring us a deeper sense of contentment as we grow older? Now, we'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned today that you'll bring into practice in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insight might just inspire someone else on their journey. If you found this video valuable, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.